Hi there, I am Susan Berry, President and Queen Bee of Hive Marketing. My company handles social media, email marketing, and online reputation for hotels and other businesses. And tonight I'm going to give you some tips for how to manage your own online reputation. So everyone went to school with some of the stereotypical types with a capital T, right? The airhead, the goody two-shoes, the mean girl, etc. These stereotypes could be the result of a single incident or misunderstanding. And in the same way, your business can be judged based on incomplete or false information. Back in the day, you probably had a group of trusted friends who would tell you when somebody was talking bad about you. Being aware gave you the chance to correct inaccuracies or, just punch somebody's lights out. The point is you could count on your friends to help you keep an eye on your reputation. But what if your friends weren't listening to the right people and didn't hear a rumor being spread about you? This is why online reputation management is important. It needs your attention. It impacts your bottom line. And it's not really that hard to manage. If you have a Google alert set up for your name or your company, you may think of it like that old trusted group of friends, right? They share the news, but it doesn't capture everything. You have to figure out where reviews are posted for your industry and visit often. TripAdvisor for hotels, Yelp for restaurants, Angie's List for contractors, etc. Go where the reviews are. I have spent years writing articles for industry publications, sharing content on social media sites, and just generally trying to create a strong professional image for myself online. So imagine my surprise when I discovered a mugshot on Google Images a couple of weeks ago. Your company's online reputation needs your attention. Our devices make it so easy to avoid conflict. Nobody wants to talk to a live person. I mean, how many times have you registered a complaint on Twitter rather than calling? You can correct a mistake if you're paying attention. If you're clueless, well, then you're just clueless. Your online reputation impacts your bottom line. Most of the sales process is completed before a customer ever makes contact with you. In fact, 85% of shoppers for hotel rooms, for instance, read the reviews before they book. And yet, 70% of companies don't bother to respond to Twitter complaints. The good news is that it's not really that hard to manage your online reputation, and I have a 3-step program for you to follow starting first thing in the morning that will help you do that. It's definitely much easier than Sandy and Danny's dance steps here. Step 1, establish a baseline both for your company and for your top 3 or so competitors. Read all of your reviews and track your top 10 complaints, both for you and for your competition. Also, take a look at how your competitors are responding or not responding to those reviews. Step 2, repair anything you can. For example, one of the top complaints for my client that was a hotel was that guests wanted refrigerators in their rooms. It was easy for the hotel to buy some mini fridges and suddenly gain a competitive advantage, which they would never have realized if they hadn't analyzed their reviews. Step 3, once you've identified those most frequent complaints, spend some time coming up with a standard response to each one of them. And I don't mean sound like a robot. You obviously want to vary your wording. But save these to use as a place to start when you're responding to reviews online. There are 2 things that companies do all the time to totally screw themselves over. First, they ignore negative comments or complaints online until they blow up in their face, hence that 70% of Twitter complaints that never get responded to. And second, when they do bother to respond, they get defensive. Even if the reviewer was a whacked out meth addict, you still have to respond to her issue like she wasn't crazy, because the next person who reads that review doesn't know or care about that situation. Make sure that your response doesn't sound defensive. We've all heard the mantra, don't feed the trolls, when somebody's just being mean online, but bad reviews of your business online aren't the same thing. They aren't trolls. Unless there's some magical kind of troll that multiplies when it doesn't get fed. You really need to respond to negative reviews online. If you feel like you absolutely must defend yourself against a negative review, do it on your own turf, like on your blog or in an article. When you're responding directly to a complaint on a review site, no matter how right you are, it will always seem defensive if you don't offer an apology first. Your response to a negative review should be one thing and one thing only: a commercial for the next person who comes along. Even if you know that person who wrote a negative review is a psychomaniac, you are not responding to that person. You're writing a commercial for the next person who comes along. And readers can tell when a complaint is really about the reviewer's craziness and not the business's fault. For example, when a guest smokes in a non-smoking hotel and then complains about the cleaning fee, it's obvious that the guest was being a rebel and broke the rules, not that the hotel did something wrong. One last tip about managing online reviews: don't broadcast a discount in your response. If you do that, you'll end up training your customers to complain in an online forum. Instead, just make a suggestion that they contact you directly to discuss it and make any offer that you want to make there. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for me to drink 7 bottles of wine. Thank you so much for listening to my first Pachachka presentation. And again, I'm Susan Berry from Hive Marketing. Thank you.